Hello everybody. In this lesson I'd like to talk about how I made this winter scene. The New Year's coming, and I think all of us has some uh, good mood with upcoming uh, New Year, and I wish you all Happy New Year, and I wish you all the best in the upcoming New Year, and I hope that uh, all the bad things will go on in the upcoming year. So and we live in peace and share some good emotions. Well, um, let's actually start with the scene. So here's the render that I made with New Karma in 2020, which is I'm not a render guy, but I really like it. It's a little bit complicated for me, not straightforward, that I used to use before, like V-Ray or Arnold or the Mantra render itself. But it's really nice experience, and I'll talk about this later when I explain the rest of the scene, how it was modeled. Okay. Um, so here we have all the scene. And okay, let me switch to perspective. Let me start with the snowman first. Um, very simple models, nothing overcomplicated. But as the procedural way of modeling, I think it was interesting to see how it's all done. So I started with a sphere, and I use this sphere mainly as a basis. So I created a line, okay, and I used transform to rate properly whenever I needed, whatever I needed. So it was ice, and with this transform I can actually manipulate the width of placement and the height of placement of the ice. Okay, the same technique was done for the this is done for the nose. Okay, so again I'm raying this point by using transform node, and then I'm fusing because this line has 0 scale, and then I'm copying my second line, which will be the caret, and here I'm using a small expression as a ramp. I'm adding a p-scale attribute, and then I'm using it in polywire. Okay, my p-scale, so I'm having this kind of shape. Also, you could probably go with a sweep node, which is very good, but I decided to go with polywire. So I group everything, so later I can use it in render. Okay. Next, I'm having a mouse, so there is a simple line with a transform apply to it. Okay, then again using this transform node, I'm raying it onto the sphere, onto the head. Okay, resampling, give it some smoothness, and here I'm adding again this p-scale ramp with this kind of shape. So I'd like to see, okay, this type of shape by using this p-scale attribute, and then a little transform just to tweak a little bit coloring and grouping it. Okay, this was the head cover. So here I'm having a line, and I'm using sweep in this case. The sweep node actually gives you some extra possibilities to manipulate your geometry. Then poly extrude and poly bevel it. Okay, this is the basic shape. Then I'm using the top. I'm using transform node, so I'm selecting the. Sometimes group type doesn't know which one to use, so you manually just select the point, and I'm telling to use the second point, the last point. Okay, then resample and sweep, and here I'm without using p-scale attribute, I'm using straight the sweep nodes ramp values. Okay, and here I'm using also this point, the second point, to apply my extra detail. And again, I'm grouping the objects with the same material in the future. Okay, so here one type and the second type of material will be applied to this head pieces. Okay, and next let's see. So here we have the body part, and here I'm having a line with yet again p-scale ramp attribute applied to it, and I'm copying the sphere, so I'm having this basic shape of the body. And here I'm grouping the head and extracting the head, or just simply selecting the head and merging them together, so it's snow material will be applied to the body. Okay, it's actually good naming this, but I didn't do that. So here I'm extracting the head and the other parts of the head. Here I'm creating hands. So the gloves are two spheres slightly transformed and merged together. So this is where it will be one material, and the tube transform and some poly bevel group and merge. So here's my glove, and then I just transform it to place it correctly. Here I have a curve which represents an arm of a snowman. Here I'm also applying a p-scale attribute, manipulating my polywire thickness, grouping, using the point, also the second point of the arm, and then copying my glove to choose this point. So in the end I'm having this geometry. Okay, and then I mirror it, and also ask to group the mirrored part and then slightly transform it so it won't be just to break the symmetry. Okay, so and this is my snowman. You see, it's very simple, but it's good practice to try and model things in procedural way. Yeah, so next is our tree, which is also simple, a lot of copy stamping, and so I can split this into two parts, which is the tree itself, and then the second one is the snow. But the base of the both are the same. Okay, so starting with the base, so I have a line and I have applied normals and a vector to the line. Then I actually I'm using the point number, and by using point number I'm trying to bend those normals along the curve, so this way I could split, not split, but place my branches in a controlled way. Not now they are looking in one direction, but here you see it's actually bending. So by using point number and multiplying this, I'm transforming you're actually better to use an up vector. I mean, here I know which axis I need, but it's good when you have a proper vector that you've already set up. So I'm using a make transform node, and I'm transforming my normals. Okay, I'm using a rotate node, which is use an up vector as an axis, and the angle is the multiplier of point number of points. And then I'm extracting my transform and putting back to normal of my curve. So here you see I bend it slightly just to have some randomness in on the branches placement. Okay, and here I'm also adding some physical attribute, so you will see now why, because I want branches to get smaller while they get on top. And here I'm also adding some multiplying some random value to my branches, so they could just be a little random while they grow. Okay, and let's see. So here you see a little bit randomness and randomness on the pattern also. But what's happening here actually? Here it's actually the same method, but here I'm creating a branch of the tree. So I'm having my vectors and normals. Here I'm also using this method, but I'm exaggerating this on a big value. So if you see, here is the line. It should start probably with this one. Here's the line that I'm transforming, and then also a p-scale, which I use later when I apply a polywire to it. So I'm transforming and having this kind of shape. Okay, color, and here I'm copying this. What is that? So here I'm rotating it so it wouldn't, if I just see, it's kind of evenly, not very naturally placed. So here I'm adding some randomness, and also I'm adding it a scaling. Here it goes 0. Okay, if I go back, let's say, see, but it gradually get small in the end. Okay, and here also I'm adding it as a multiplier to add some randomness to all those leaves. Then I decided the branches go will look upwards but not downwards, and then I'm adding a circular pattern of copying around the circle, and then I'm having the kind of shape of a tree. The second part was the same, but the only difference was what I did. If I look here, I have some gaps, but it becomes obvious whenever they go small, all the branches. So I added some random branches just to fill the gaps between. Okay, so I have the same setup, but here I'm just playing with the value just to get the look that I want to see in the end. Again, the same p-scale, just bigger in the bottom and smaller in the top. Okay, and some randomness, and in the end I'm adding this p-scale. So here's my tree, as you see. I wouldn't go with the mesh if I was planning to render with the mantra, because mantra actually renders splines. I think modern renderers also do the type of job, but okay, I decided just to go with the mesh this time until I learned the karma properly. So next thing, what I'm doing here, I'm taking this line and I'm carving it, because usually snow sits on the sides but not in the inside of the trees. It's like on the top of the trees. Okay, so I'm carving it and I'm having this small piece, whereas again I'm creating the circular pattern, and I'm using the same lines to copy onto my geometry. Okay, just randomly placed, and then I merge them together. I'm adding some noise, so I would give some randomness to the snow. Okay, then I'm scattering points onto these lines that I've copied, some jitterness, so now you see the shape. And then I'm adding this noise ramp tool that I constantly use to control some of the attributes. Okay, and I'm using it as a p-scale, my color. There's some noise, which you can probably see. Okay, this way I'd like to control my snow scale. I want this evenly distributed on the whole area of the tree, with some randomness. Okay, and I'm copying this attribute to all my points and adding yet again some multiplication to all the p-scale attribute, and I'm copying the sphere to this point. Once I was asked why am I not using simply p-scale VDB from particles, and mainly just a habit, but the second thing is just whenever you have some geometry that you can manipulate your VDBs, I think it's convenient. While p-scale from particles, they give you just a blob shape, but in this case, as you see, I'm having some deformed shape copied onto my points, and then I'm converting that to VDB. I could actually add some more of these deforming shapes, so I could get a different variation. Okay, and also what if let's add some random attribute randomize to our normals, and this way alright, a little more randomness so they face different directions. Okay, now I'm converting that to VDBs, trying to stay low res because I don't need this long caching times. Okay, so, and snow is such a is such a random thing, so you don't need to get something that's very precise. And yes, this is my snow. As you see, it's absolutely simple to set up, and here I'm having the snow onto my tree. Okay, next is the snow, just ground. It's simple mountain, and I'm using it like just eyeballing where I have some interesting patterns, so I could place all my geometry later. Okay, so, and the snow part is also easy. As you see, I have grid with some points scattered on it, and I'm using orient attribute or spin attribute, and then here I'm having my particles emitting without any complicated setup. This you don't need it, it's just simple for testing. Here I'm adding a p-scale random attribute to my particles during the render, and pop force with the gravity and some noise attributes and pop drag. A very simple setup. Okay, and here I'm also adding a p-scale. Okay, so this is the setup, and now we'll go to rendering. Just go with GL. Alright, so starting snowman. So I'm using groups in this case. So you see, so rendering. Last session crashed for some reason. So starting with the snowman. Okay, here's the snowman. Here's the body. So I'm using those groups that I have actually applied to all my groups, and I'm also using this load as reference. And here I'm using different parts that I'm planning to apply materials on. Okay, so the white material, the red material, arms, mouth, nose, I guess, and eyes. Okay, and then I'm transforming it just to place it into the view. So then I'm creating a material library. So I think you should be careful with the naming of the material attributes, okay? Because so I had like a snow material, and whenever I used the snow material, it was using the one material with this name, but the other ones actually it used the first material with this name, but the other materials, well, it was a little mess. So I just renamed all the materials so I could just separate them correctly, and also this Karma could this Locknet or Solaris could properly just separate, okay, or delegate, what you call. So here I'm the snowman's material. So here I have this already set up for me, and I'm using Voronoi with some bigger values as the snow bumps, and here I'm using the scale amount. And I was actually nicely surprised with the Karma's displacement. It's very fast and good looking results. I really liked it. And here's some, I won't go through all those tweaks, but mainly I use the colors, the specular, some sheen values, and some emission. Okay, also subsurface that I used. I simply was playing with the values until I get the result that I want. Okay, and this Voronoi noise I used almost everywhere with different displacement values. Okay, so this was material of the snowman. This is the same setup. Here I actually I used some emission and some high displacement values. I use it for white material which covers the gloves and part of head. Okay, black material is simple, just some specular and some glossy values, nothing special. Everything is the same. The only thing that I would recommend, just whenever you create all your material library here, I'm using autofill, so it creates all those material setup, so you can later use it in whenever you applying all those materials. Okay, so here actually the material library just set up those pass values. You could use here, actually you could apply this onto your geometry, but I decided to go like here. It's the same thing I would assume, but here I'm using my geometry, and then I'm using that material that I have in my library. So there is a path to my library materials. Actually, I think that's all the libraries. I think I could use only one material library and then assign it as I want. Okay, but anyway, let's learn together. Okay, so geometry, material, and it worked for me. It worked. Then I will talk about this is the ground, nothing special, just I changed it to place it for my camera view. Okay, again, but just because I have a simple ground, I have snow material applied to it, and I simply, here I'm having all that path set up, and to my SOP import linked to my geometry. Here's the tree, so I have my tree and I have my snow, also using groups. Okay, and I'm transforming it, and the same thing, materials and assignment, and here I am trying to replicate this tree to place it in the scene. So I have my hero tree in here, and then I'm using instancer I'd like to use instancer for the both groups, but it didn't allow me to do so. I think probably there is a method, but I couldn't find, so I had to instance all those trees separately. And the other thing, if you notice, I have here only snow of the tree because it looked better in my opinion. But here I have them both, so here I have them both set up. Okay, and here's only the snow of the trees, and the mainly you link your geometry to the second input. Here is also asking for second input, but you can use the first, but I left it as it is. And inside here I'm having my point. So here's the point, and and I transform it. I transform my point, so, and merge them together. So I have it's kind of difficult to see, and so I made 3 points, and I also add a p-scale attribute. Okay, and this way I have some variation on my trees, and this way I'm copying. I'm using instanceable reference. I don't know what different yet, but it worked for me. So here's all my trees. Okay, here's the setup. So here a tree, and somewhere on the back. Okay, and here's the snow. The snow was also imported, loaded as a reference, and here just use there's only one material that I've created, and just apply it to my SOP import to this geometry. Okay, and here I'm creating lights. So here's my camera lights. Also I use the new physical karma sky. Okay, so I use light just also intuitively, just to give some lights. I use those area lights, for example, just to light my snowman, and firstly I try to go with the dome light as just because I know how it works, but then I decided to try karma physical sky, and 2 distant light just to light the whole scene. Okay, and then the fog karma box, it's nice to use. Yeah, you have some depths to your things. And lastly, karma render settings. I use some filters with some low resolution to XP engine, and also I use the motion blur. Overall, the settings are the same. I didn't change anything. So the depth of the field is by default, velocity blur that you activate, and yeah, this is the setup, and we'll try to give it a render. Well, this is all that I would like to share with you in this lesson. If information was useful, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I will be sharing this lesson on my Boosty channel. Also, I'd like to thank all my supporters. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot. So thank you very much for your attention, and I see you in the future lessons. Goodbye.